Hello, kindergarten, first and second graders. This is going to be our next project, project number 2 for second quarter. And this project is for the weeks of November 16th, November 23rd, and November 30th. November 23rd is a really short week. We only have 2 days. And we're actually starting in the middle of this week. So it'll be 2 weeks total. The project's going to be due on November 30th, which is a Friday. And if you had a chance to look at the little video that I put on there, it's called Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, you will see that there's a little owl that inspired this little artwork. This example is just done with crayon, so I just wanted to show you that you can use crayon only. You could also use paint. Paint would be awesome, but today I'm going to be using paper and oil pastels. So feel free to use the materials that you want. This one's done with crayon and construction paper, and just use what works for you, all right? We are going to be talking for a few minutes about using geometric and organic shapes to create the collage. A collage is when you use paper and scissors and glue to create a picture, all right? And geometric and organic shapes are going to be on this picture. So first of all, let me talk a little bit about geometric and organic shapes. So geometric shapes are shapes that we learn about in math, like triangles, rectangles, squares, ovals, diamond, like a rhombus shape. So you can see in this picture that there is this shape of the owl that doesn't look really geometric, but you can see circles are geometric, and triangles, or actually this is more like a rhombus that I folded into a triangle, I'll show you how to do that, are geometric. And even these sticks here originally were rectangles, so they were geometric, okay? Some shapes are a little more natural, and we call those organic shapes, like cloud shapes, star shapes, puddle shapes, gingerbread man shapes. So the owl itself, the body of the owl is sort of an organic shape because it kind of looks like an oval, but it's got the ears sticking out of it. And even the feet, I kind of turn these triangles into more of an organic shape because they have little cutouts on the bottom. And now that I've cut the rectangles a little bit, they're a little bit more organic because they're all kind of glued together and they look like this new shape. All right, so we are going to be using shapes today. We're going to start with a plain sheet of paper. Now, I don't care what color you use. In this one, I used yellow. So I'll use yellow today. So here's my yellow paper. All right, might not look too yellow in this picture, but all right, so this is going to be my base color, paper. I'm going to put that to the side right now because I'm going to do my owl first. Now my owl is done with a half sheet of paper. So all I did is I folded my paper in half like this, and then I cut it down the center. Because I want it to be smaller than my sky. All right, so I have that. And then I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to draw that organic owl shape. So I'm going to create a U shape first. And I want it to be big because I want it to be the biggest owl that I can create. So big U shape. All right, and then I want to make those cute little ears. So up near the top, I'm just going to make a little diagonal line down. So now I've got 2 ears for this beautiful owl, and then I'm going to connect them. All right, then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut out my owl shape, my organic owl shape. If you do not have paper and you can't glue, you could just draw that shape right on your sky paper. It is completely fine, but I'm making a collage, so I'm cutting it out of colored paper. Now the next thing I did is I have just a different color paper, actually use peach. So here's a peach piece of paper. You can use any color you want. I'm just going to use a tiny little bit of this paper. I'm actually going to use 1/4 of it. So I'm just going to cut this down because I don't want to waste paper. And you can just cut yourself off a piece of paper. I'm just using a little section of paper, maybe about the size of my hand. So if you can find a piece of paper about the size of your hand, that would probably be really good for our next step. So just kind of measure it. Say, is it about the size of my hand? So it's a rectangle. Right now it's geometric, right? It's a geometric shape. All right, and I'm going to fold it in half. So I'm going to take this paper and fold it in half. The reason why I'm folding it in half is because I'm going to make some shapes on this, and I'm going to cut it with the paper folded so that every shape I cut, I end up with 2, because I need 2 eyes, 2 feet, and I want to only have to cut 1 time. So I have it folded like this, and I'm going to draw a big circle on it on one side. And then I'm going to draw a big triangle on it on this side. Pretty big, because I want big eyes and big feet. Then I'm going to keep it folded, and then I'm going to cut out my shapes. See how I have it folded and there's 2 papers under there? Just like that. And then I'm going to do it again over here. So now I've got 2 feet and I've got 2 eyes. And I'm going to grab my glue stick and I'm going to glue my eyes down like this. Now my feet, you can make them organic by making the little toes on them. I'll show you how to do that. But if you're not going to do that, you're just going to glue them near the bottom. But you want to make sure they stick out because he's going to be standing on a branch. All right. If you want to make them zigzaggy on the bottom, you could put them back together like this. That way you only have to cut 1 time. And you can just make some little cuts to make it look a little zigzaggy at the bottom. If that's too hard for you, just triangles is completely fine. It's fine. All right, and I'm going to take my glue stick and I'm going to glue just the very bottom, and I'm going to make them stick out like this. Okay? So I've got 2 eyes, 2 feet, and a body. Okay? The next step I want to make are some littler eye circles. So if you look at my example, you will see that in the big circles, there's some smaller geometric circles. So I'm going to do the same thing. I just have a piece of scrap white paper. All right, I'm just going to use a small one. It's even smaller than my hand, probably half the size of my hand. See? It's not big at all. And then I'm going to fold it in half again because I want to make 2 the same size. I could draw a circle, just make sure it's smaller than my big circles. Or maybe someone can help you. Maybe you don't even want to make it circle shape. Maybe you want little triangles for the center of the eyes. That's completely fine. So I'm going to glue this in the middle of my eyes like this. Okay? Just like that. All right. If I go back to my little scraps of peach paper that I have, I can also make a nose or a beak for my owl. I can make a triangle, I can make a diamond shape, it doesn't matter. I can show you how to make an easy diamond shape. If you take the folded side of your scrap paper, if you have any room left, and you cut a triangle on the fold, see how this is folded here? And cut a triangle, it will make a little beak that opens and closes. That's kind of cool because then it kind of sticks out. If you just want to make a triangle beak, that's completely fine. I'm just going to make that, and I'm going to let it sit right there on my owl. Awesome. So now that I got my owl kind of put together pretty well, you can pause this video as many times as you want. I'm going to grab my sky. Now, if you notice from the picture, you'll notice that the owl is sitting on the branch and the branch is behind the owl. So I want to glue my branches first and then my owl, so that way my owl looks like it's in front. All right, so I'm going to do some branches first. I have some brown paper. And I'm going to cut long rectangles out of my brown paper. So I just have some scrap brown paper. I'm going to make some long, skinny rectangles with my, I'll probably do maybe 2 or 3. It's probably all you need. 3 might be too many. But just in case, I'm going to make 3. Now the first one's pretty important because it's going to be the one that the owl is standing on. So I might need to look and see where that branch needs to go before I glue it down. I think it needs to go right about there, not really exactly at the bottom of the paper, but close. So I'm going to glue this down like this. And this is where you can start getting creative. You can start putting extra branches in places. So maybe I'm going to have a branch coming up like that. So I'm going to take some more of this rectangular geometric paper and cut it down into an interesting shape. I'm going to trim off the extra at the end of the paper. Maybe I'll put a smaller branch down here at the bottom. I had a little left over, so I can put some there. And then I might put one more up here like that. I kind of like how that looks rough. It almost looks like a branch. I'm going to glue some of that, and I'm going to have to cut that one too, I think. Looks pretty good. You can put as many branches as you want. It's your treat. Okay. And then I'm going to take my pretty little owl, and I'm going to glue it. If you're using glue bottle, just use little dots of glue. I'm using glue stick. And now I want his feet to touch that bottom branch. There we go. Now, this would be a good time to pause the video for week 1. So if you think you need a break, maybe you want your glue to dry, this might be a good time to just pause and come back to it on week 2. If you're trying to space out your work, or come back to it on another day. I'm going to go ahead and keep working, but I now am going to start adding some cool texture to my owl, autumn owl picture. I'm going to be using autumn colors, so I'm going to be using orange and yellow and brown and black. I'm going to do the feathers first. Now in this one, I really made the feathers straight. You don't have to make straight feathers. You can make the feathers look a little bit more V-shaped, and I think that's what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to use some oil pastels. I'm going to make some cool designs around my owl. I'm going to make some cool lines around my circles, my geometric circles. I made some pupils on the eye. I might want to put some feathers. I'm actually going to make some little upside down V feathers this time. I kind of like that look. It looks like real feathers. I'm going to use different colors. I'm just starting with black because I'm going to put some browns and some whites in here and really make it look like a real owl with feathers. Put some little lines on his feet. I might even take this black, since I have black right now, and I might just put some lines in my branches to make it look like real wood. That looks kind of cool. Now I really want to grab a really cool brown, and I'm going to do some brown lines on my owl. the more you layer it, the more feathery it's gonna look. Put some in my branches, like this. Go as slow as you want. I'm gonna add a little bit more brown around my eyes. That looks really cool. Lots of cool colors there. Now I want to use a lighter brown. I'm going to add some, it's kind of a goldish brown. Add some of that. Some more oil pastel. It's okay if they touch each other or overlap. You can kind of build up your colors. I don't think I'm going to use this color on my branches though. I think I'm just going to use it on my owl. Okay. Going to add some white. If you have white, you can. Sometimes owls have white in their feathers, so I'm just going to add some white here. Really, the more you layer, you can blend these colors together. Just kind of really have fun with your paint or your oil pastels or your crayons or whatever it is that you use. I'm going to add some white around his eyes. Really like the way the eyes look when they have white on them. Okay, really think my wood needs a little bit more of a color. I found this kind of rusty color. I'm going to add that to my wood. It's pretty cool. Now, my sky. So keep working on it until you like the look of what you have. I actually think I'm going to outline the eyes a little. That might look cool. There we go. That looks cool. All right, so my sky. I decided I want to put some design and stuff in my sky. You can see this one I added like some swirls and things like that. If you have a darker paper and you want to make a night sky, that would look super cool. You could do like a blue or a purple sky. I'm just going to make some sunset colors back here. So I'm going to start with some red oil pastel, and I'm just going to make a little bit of color back here with my oil pastel, just so it doesn't look so simple in the background. I'm laying my oil pastel down. If you have an older one, I kind of like the way crayons and oil pastels look like when I lay them down. If you have paint and you want to paint the background, that'd be really fun. I'm first going to add some red, and then I think I'm going to add some orange. Blending colors together. So it almost looks like it's a sunset, all these pretty autumn colors. You can make leaves back there if you'd like some leaves. I love this orange. Even though I know my owl's orange, it still looks pretty cool. Okay, now I'm going to use this orange yellow. I'm going to peel it and use some of that. That looks really pretty. I hope you can see what I'm doing here. There we go. Now it looks kind of like a sunset. Okay, I think I have a really good start here. If you want to add anything else to your background, maybe some kind of pattern like I did with the swirls, you could still do that like right on top. So you can take like your darkest color, and if you want to make some kind of swirls or some kind of designs in here, you could still do that. You can make a little texture, a little pattern. Look fine. I think the more you build up different types of color, the cooler it looks. So play around with like different designs and And that's it. That is your autumn owl. So please, when you get finished with your beautiful artwork, please take a picture of it, email it to me by Friday, November 30th. I can't wait to see your beautiful work. Take care and talk to you soon.